Hello everyone, you are about to hear a brief summary of the movie Night Thief și o poză sau doar poză la artistul. Enjoy watching. Maddie is a Belgian student who works as a locksmith after classes. For €250, he provides a lock-picking services. Maddie received another request. A girl gave her name and the address of the locked apartment. Today, Brussels was swept by protests due to the police killing of a black youngster. Maddie popped into a shop for a snack before work, but Claire is eager for the locksmith to open her apartment quickly. Do you have the required amount? Yes, but the money is inside. I need to record identification. It's in the wallet, in the apartment. Maddie asked my guest her to at least describe the interior. The girl only mentioned a punching bag and made a joke. That was enough for Maddie and he got to work. The girl somehow panicked when she heard someone's footsteps. The lock was opened and Claire rushed inside. There was indeed a punching bag hanging there. Now to wait for the identification card. Claire went out with the trash bag, without documents and money. She supposedly will withdraw cash from an ATM, and the passport is on the table in the apartment. Maddie entered the room. It doesn't seem like a young girl could live in this creepy dwelling. Suddenly, Claire called again and asked Maggie to leave here as soon as possible. She is very sorry that she set him up, but it was already too late. The real owner of the apartment returned and started beating the locksmith. He pressed the student's face against the burner and lit the flame. Mother escaped by smashing a plate and stabbing the guy in the side with a shard. But that didn't stop the guy. It seems he intends to kill the uninvited guest. Maddie somehow crawled to the screwdriver and stuck it in the man's neck. The man died on the spot and Maddie vomited. The young man washed off the blood and wondered what to do next. His phone was broken, so he had to go down to the store and ask the seller for a mobile. Maddie called the police, but then immediately saw how the cops were brutally dealing with the demonstrators. He no longer wanted to have anything to do with them. The student wiped the fingerprints he left in the store and returned to the ill-fated apartment. Need to retrieve my tool from the neck of the deceased. At that moment, someone knocked on the door. The owner's bodies entered the apartment. There was something hidden in the very pair, but now it is gutted. The thugs suspect that the killer might still be here. Maddie was indeed hiding under the bed. He knocked it over onto one of the men, ran downstairs and jumped into a car. It seems he managed to escape. The poor guy was pulled out of the car. A bag was put over his head and he was brought to a construction site. The bandits inspected the unlucky locksmith's belongings. The boss immediately showed him his face and asked an unexpected question. "Where's the money, Maddie?" But the kid hadn't seen any money. It's all because of a girl named Claire. The bandits quickly looked up the student's information on social media. It also seems they have access to the police database. I am just a dumb locksmith. It was Claire who asked me to pick the lock. And I did. Maddie explained how it all happened, and he killed their accomplice to survive himself. Yannick wrapped the boy's mouth and nose with duct tape so he could no longer breathe. Choking, the boy fell off the chair. His eyes began to roll back. The boss gave another chance to tell how it really happened, but Maddie sticks to the old version. Theo came up and asked to describe this Claire. It's necessary to understand whether the locksmith is lying or not. The bandits began to suspect the owner of the local brothel. The murdered man was quite a chatterbox. Gina probably sent one of her girls. The damn Nazi set us up. If you don't find that girl and my money by dawn, you'll have to pay. They have Maddie's fingerprints on the murder weapon, so he's either facing a body bag or a jail cell. But if the student finds the cash, Yannick will get rid of the body. Maddie was brought to the brothel and ordered to describe what this Claire looks like. What about her backside? What is that? Is it big? And her breasts? Remy began to lead the hostage around the den to identify the girl. One of the clients didn't like it and attacked the bandit. While Remy was occupied, the student decided to escape, but instead accidentally overheard a phone conversation. It turned out that the blonde Theo was in cahoots with that girl. They planned the whole thing together, but because of the locksmith, everything went awry. Theo asked his lover to escape. But he'll have to off the kid since he saw her face. After finishing, Theo threw Maddie into the bathtub. For now, they need to deal with the guy in his underwear that Remy threw out the window. The bandits forgot they were dealing with a locksmith. Finding tweezers and handcuffs, he began to pick the lock. The guy needs to hurry. Theo had already pulled out a gun. Luckily he was distracted by Remy. When the thug returned to the door, there was no one in the bathroom anymore. The owner saw the fugitive and called Theo. He opened fire and ran after Madi. They both fell from the roof onto the parking lot. The student picked up Theo's phone and managed to escape before the bandit came to. Madi had to steal a bicycle to avoid being shot by the criminal, but Remy cut him off ahead. Right on the bike, Madi went down into the subway and ran into the train car at the very last moment. He still managed to escape. Now the bandits can only drive around the city, hoping the guy will show up. Yannick is a family man and also a dirty cop who owes a lot of money to the Albanians. If he doesn't come up with it by tomorrow, he's finished. Claire texted an accomplice. Madi pretended to be Theo and insisted that they meet at a nightclub. Also, Claire absolutely must bring the money with her. After that, Madi somehow treated his wounds and armed himself with a hammer. Claire is heading to the agreed place. The young guy was just about to attack her, but demonstrators distracted him. Come with us, brother. Come, let's fight. Let's fight for our rights. Sorry, I am in a hurry. Alas, the moment was lost, and Claire managed to enter the club. However, the guards did not want to let the working guy in. Fortunately, Madi managed to convince them that he was a plumber, and there was a clogged toilet. Claire is waiting for the accomplice at the bar counter. Madi wrote to her that they should meet in the basement. The girl listened to him, but suddenly Theo called her from another number. Already in the basement? In the basement? Which basement? Claire understood everything and was about to run, but it was too late. Madi shoved her into a storage room and demanded she hand over the bag. He chained the girl to a chair. Alas, there wasn't any money in the bag. She's not stupid to carry it to some club. The guy started threatening Claire with a hammer, but the girl wasn't scared by the threats. Too late, Madi. I robbed a psychopath. You killed this thug. That's the whole deal. Claire continued to taunt, saying Madi is only capable of obeying, and she orders him to run. Madi, just die already, will you? I will not. Spill it already. Claire immediately stopped finding it funny. Madi also burst into tears, as he is not a sadist and does not take pleasure in such things. Claire let slip that Theo is her brother. She got involved in this only to help a family member. Theo arrived at the club. He heard the music and realized where his sister was. Madi managed to persuade the girl not to turn him in. In any case, she's not a criminal either. Claire tries to persuade her brother not to harm Madi, since he is not a killer. If Yannick doesn't get the money, it's over for him. He won't be chasing us. The relatives agreed to meet at the station. Theo still needs to take care of a couple of things. The bandit saw his sister off and ended up returning to the club. After all, Madi had arranged to meet her right here. Meanwhile, the plumber was sent to the kitchen because they had a leak there. The floor is really getting flooded. Madi said he needs to go back to the car for tools. And what do you have in your bag? The bouncer asked, and found only a bloody hammer there. Madi still couldn't manage to escape. Theo burst in here and started shooting with a pistol. Madi hopes to persuade the criminal to spare him, but Theo has already made up his mind. At the last moment, the guy tossed a canister into the air. Theo fired, and the place filled with gas. Madi ran away again. He managed to get lost in the crowd of demonstrators, and Theo had to hide his gun. The guys noticed that one of their buddies was injured, and Madi pointed at the blonde. That's the white jerk who hit him. Theo was immediately kicked by the crowd. He managed to fight back only by firing a shot into the air with his gun. Hearing the shots, the police began to act more aggressively, and Madi was once again in danger. He managed to take the elevator down, but Theo is not going to give up. Then Madi ran straight into a police cordon. One cop threw him to the ground and started beating him with a baton with all his strength. Here's your BLM in the kidneys. After turning Maggie into a cutlet, they threw him into the car. Theo also didn't manage to escape from the police. However, he did have time to toss the gun into a trash bin. Right back. These two were put in the same car. Another dirty cop informed Yannick that his problem was being driven to the station right now. After some time, a car with criminals crashed into the police car at full speed. So the guy ended up at the construction site again with his hands tied. But this time he already knew something. It was Theo who robbed you. Can you explain? Bring Theo if he is up. They called in a disheveled Theo. The blonde, of course, started to deny everything. Then Maddie suggested looking into his phone. It turns out that when Maddie was hiding in the storage room, he recorded a conversation between Theo and his accomplice. They were discussing how to cheat Yannick and escape the country. Theo resisted for a while, but then they forced him to his knees and beat him. Yannick found out that the girl would be at the station with his money at 6 in the morning. And Maddie had asked to be left alone. But the blonde decided to go all the way. Before dying, Theo started begging not to touch his sister. Yannick did not respond to this, wrapped the sidekick's head with duct tape, and left him to suffocate on the floor. Maddie fulfilled his part of the deal. He found the money, and those who took it. The boss ordered to let the guy go. However, he will keep the screwdriver with the fingerprints to ensure Maddie keeps quiet. As he was leaving, the student glanced at Theo's corpse. Soon, Claire will meet the same fate. The young man was dropped off next to his car, as if nothing had happened. Now, he can finally go home. But for some reason, Maddie is not in a hurry. He cannot ignore what will happen to Claire. The young man pressed the gas pedal and rushed to the station. Maddie has only 14 minutes left. The cops started following the car. But the guy is not going to stop. Yannick instructed Remy to stab the girl. Claire is on the tram, unaware that her life hangs by a thread. Maddie managed to briefly shake off the cops. Claire arrived at the station. The killers are already waiting for her. Maddie is being chased again. 3 police cars. He has only 5 minutes left. Alas, the guy got distracted and ended up in an accident. Remy recognized the girl and trailed after her to finish her off. A policeman approached the car, but suddenly the driver got out from the other side. Maddie started running full speed again. Claire is looking out for her brother, but Remy is already approaching her. Maddie shouted her name, and at that moment, the policeman shot the student. Remy hesitated for a second and continued the chase. Claire realized that she would not see her brother again, so she left on another train. A crowd surrounded the wounded Maddie. What's going on? The police shot an unarmed black guy again. So, at the cost of his health and freedom, Maddie saved the girl who framed him.